shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a 44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you?
Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up!
Welcome to Rod Uncensored Show. Guys, he's not a special guest. I can't even say that no more, man. But how are you doing today, man? Terrell?
I'm good. How about yourself, man?
Good, man.
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see, man. What's been going on with you, man?
Oh man, just dealing with life. Funny you asked me about coming on here to speak about mental health. I've been dealing with that this whole year.
I see you was in multiple accidents. I've been seeing you get hit back to back to back to back.
Yeah, I get it. About a year ago, I lost my car, got totaled out, and then I ended up getting a newer car, getting an upgrade, and somebody backed into me and wasn't paying attention and tore my bumper up. So I've been in the shop for like a month, like 6 weeks, 5 weeks, about 5 weeks.
I know the car insurance company's mad at you. Like, God damn, Terrell.
Nah, it ain't me. They don't be mad at me because it don't be me. I can't control what others do, but yeah, they like, damn, what the hell?
So what's been going on? You say you've been dealing with mental health, depression, and lately, man, what's been going on, man? Without going so deep, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I've been dealing with depression for a minute, for a couple of decades, since I was little, and we all got reason to be depressed, but a lot of it's mind over matter because a lot of it don't really matter. What we depressed over really don't matter. But in this situation, I don't know. It's just, how you got signs that you're depressed. You might not feel depressed in your normal day, but then you have the moments where you look back at your life or what you're going through, and you mental check yourself, like ask yourself what's going on, how you feeling, why you feel a certain way. I ask myself those questions when I'm, going through a little funk where I don't want to get out the bed and I don't want to deal with society, and I just want to, just not really be bothered. And I think it's kind of like protecting my peace. Only time you get a peace of mind is when you're isolated and not really dealing with people. I've been doing a lot of that, not wanting to go to work, not wanting to leave the house. Some days I take mental day. I take what they call them, mental health day.
Mental health day, yeah.
Yeah, I take mental health. Them serious. I take at least maybe 2 a month. But just I don't know. Life ain't. You try not to get depressed over your life from where you want to get somewhere in life, but you got to trust the process and go through whatever God's going to put you through to get there. But it's like, when is something different going to shake? And when things ain't, going according to plan or to your liking, you can get depressed. So I'm going through that.
So what are some ways you cope with it and get through it?
One, I try not. I've learned to not take my anger and frustration out on others. So I'll exclude myself. I'll exclude myself out of dealing with people. At times, I'll put on Facebook like, I'm taking a day off. So that means like there's certain people that understand what that means. I mean, like, I need space so I can get my mind right because I got to get back at it. And in order for me to get back at it, I got to get through whatever it is I'm going through mentally, spiritually. So you can be like spiritually depressed. You can be mentally depressed. Spiritually tired, physically tired, mentally tired. I go through those things. So, I get myself together and, just ask myself and, ask myself questions and identifying why I'm feeling a certain way, or, just take a moment to myself and get my mind off of certain things by doing other little things. that's going to distract me from whatever it is that's depressing me.
And you know, I mean, that's really important, man, to do it a healthy way, man. Because I feel like if you don't do it a healthy way, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
and you got to deal with it. You can't run from it. You can't be in denial. You just got to, like, we all got legit reasons to be depressed. But I don't mean that we got to let those reasons uh, cover us, you know what I'm saying? Succumb us to the point where we can't even operate or function normally because we're stuck in this deep hole. And if you don't get yourself out of that hole, it's going to get deeper and deeper and deeper. So you got to work and you got to surround yourself with people that understand because we all need somebody to talk to. Ain't no good in holding it all in. Got to let it out.
and that's really important too, man. Because I got a homeboy, older cat, and I tell him he's my ghetto. I tell him he's my ghetto therapist that I got to pay a copay. You know what I mean? And I just use his ears. We just be rapping. Um, Good 35 minutes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just to let it out. You know what I mean? Because we all not. You know what I mean? We all struggle with something. You know what I mean? Um, so I vent, and then he'd be like, "Yo, you already got the answers. You already had it." But it's just good to get the confirmation sometimes. You know what I mean?
It is. It is like I always ask a person, like, what's the difference between complaining and venting? Complaining
Mm,
is like you're like complaining about a situation. Let's say you complain about your wife, your kids, your job, your parents, whatever. You're just complaining. You frustrated. And when it comes to complaining, a person that you're complaining to can give you advice, right? But then you got venting. Venting is like an air vent. Air gets pushed out the vent. It don't. If you cover the vent up and turn the air up, something bad might happen because the air ain't going nowhere, right? So when we vent and we're just letting a lot of stuff off our chest, and it'd be those moments where a person really we just need a person to just not say nothing, just let me get this off my chest situation. So a lot of times we're venting, where some people might look at it like, man, he always complaining. No, man, let that person let that out. There's a difference between complaining and venting. Identify what it is.
you know what I mean? I feel like it's good to do it like that, or meditate, whatever you got to do to get it out, because you know what I mean. You can let that shit like burden you. You know what I mean? It feel like it's rain coming over your head if you don't take care of it. You keep on compacting it. It's like you having like a dirty room. You keep on throwing the shit in the closet.
Hmm.
Eventually the closet is not gonna be able to take no more. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And I know it's just we get depressed over our stuff. We get depressed over those we care about, what they're going through. That can be a burden. I went to this meeting. I went to this group thing that I go to here every blue moon, wherever I get a chance. And they spoke about something called vicarious trauma, right? So
Mm.
it's like we all experience it. It's like when, say, I'm talking to you, and we cool, or maybe you don't even know me, whatever the case may be, but you a humanitarian type situation. You got empathy and all that, and I'm just talking about a messed up situation. You like, man, I feel you, bro, man. I'm sorry you got to go through that. Like my trauma being put on you can weigh on you because you know what I'm saying. You a caring individual. You ain't like one like, man, I ain't trying to hear that stuff, man. Suck it up, man up, and all that. Now you like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel you, man. Because if I went through something similar like that, and it was hard on me. So my trauma ended up becoming your trauma because you're connected to human beings through understanding and feelings and whatnot. So, I deal with a lot of vicarious trauma because of me being a barber and me being close to people who feel comfortable talking to me. And it's like the stories that I hear and the things that they talk about, like suicide, rape. I've had so many people, childhood issues. And like you said, you got one who you talk to like 30, 40 strong, 30, 40 minutes, man. I go at least an hour and a half or more
Mm.
talking to somebody about a situation because a lot of us don't have others to talk to, or we do, but we had situations that caused us not to be trustworthy of others. We done told a close girlfriend or somebody close to us that we trust, and then they get in their feelings or whatever the case may be, and either go tell somebody else or throw it in your face. So that shuts us down where, you know what, I can't even talk to nobody. And then you go look at the professionals that are designed to help us out, being psychiatrists and counselors. We don't even, a lot of our people don't even want to go talk to them, get their professional help.
And
But
you know what I
whatever.
mean? And that's why I say this, man. It's you gotta just take care of it, man, the best way you can, man, because it's really important. To get that off if you want to be effective, and you can't be effective if your mental's shook up. You can't be a good father. You can't be a good person overall if you don't get help with it some kind of way. You know what I mean? You can't really do nothing if you don't got that. So I can understand why you don't go into work if you're not right mentally, because you can
Yeah.
snap on you. You know what I mean? One of your clientele, you can snap on them because you're not mentally there. You know what I mean?
And then, you know, me, I'm in a unfamiliar situation where in a work wise, and I'm in a shop with like 7 other brothers, and I'm used to being in a shop which is me and another cat, and or you know, some 2-man, 3-man type situation. But man, just it takes time for me to do. You know, I don't want to bring that. You know, you ain't supposed to bring your personal life into your workplace, and I try not to do that. So it, and when I enter that place, I got to be extra careful on monitoring my emotions, because you know niggas is gonna be niggas, and you know it can get annoying at times and whatnot. But at the same time, I still have to be professional and keep my. Because I've had moments where I kind of like lost it, spazzed out. Like when I slip hard, and I will spaz out because I got a whole bunch built up, and you gotta suppress a lot of things and not acknowledge or deal with it. You gotta pick your battles. You really gotta pick your battles, because a lot of the battles that we fight, they're not even worth it.
And that's why I said, man, this overall the 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 how crazy, you know what I mean, these YNs are, man. And when I can just lend the ear, and I ain't the scholar or anything, but just give just simple, you know what I mean, advice and life lessons I got. I be trying to dish them things off like John Stockton when I can, you know what I mean? To just save people the headache, you know what I mean?
You got to plant seeds, because a lot of them YNs, they don't care. That's what makes them a YN. It ain't that they're young; it's the title. That's like a whole description up under on how a YN's supposed to be. And to be a YN, you cannot give a fuck. Not about what nobody says, and you know. But still, we got to still continue to plant seeds, and you know, be patient and hope those seeds grow. Can't just shut them to the side like, man, I ain't fucking know, man. Even if the ones that don't want to hear, you still got to plant those seeds, because it's our job.
And that's why I'll be trying to tell people, man, don't, you know, because I could see it firsthand. We all come from the fake ghetto, the projects, whatever, you know what I mean, or have experiences with that. I try to tell people, man, there's always more you can get to, man. You just got to put the work in. And I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable at a certain time not being in the house, man. There's nothing out there for me. You know what I mean? It takes a while to get to that level of saying I'm cool with just being in the crib. You know what I mean? I'm cool with being a dad and seeing my kids grow. That's cool to me, and I don't got time to be wasting.
Man, it just that puts me in that comes in my mind every time I hear a YN call me an old nigga or call somebody old. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
a
Like
blessing, man.
you better wish that you can get this age, because there's billions that ain't even make it to 30
Hmm.
over the course of the you know course of mankind history and stuff, like especially in our culture, in our village. Like it's I've never felt the need to say that I'm glad I made it this far, but I understand when I hear somebody say that, like I'm not even supposed to be here, I'm supposed to been gone back when, you know, 10 years ago, but I'm 35 now, and every year is like a real blessing because they came from where they came from.
And you know what I mean? That's why I said, man, it's just good. to see where self-reflect and see where you came from. You know what I mean? You're probably not the same Terrell from 97. You know what I mean? But you can see, you can look back sometime in the mirror, and be like, damn, there's some growth there. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with saying, looking back a little bit, you know, in the side mirror and say, man, I grew from there.
Evolution is proof of evolution, self-evolution. Like, we're humans and we are designed to evolve, not just physically. What you look back in the 70s compared to now, we much faster, we jump higher, we're built different, we're more physically advanced than our fathers and grandfathers and things of that nature. But it ain't just about the physical aspect of evolution, it's the mental and the spiritual aspect of evolution. You got to be able to evolve. And by looking into your past and seeing, because nobody knows what you've been through better than you, right? So you see that, you understand a lot of times you got to go through hell. I always tell young people, sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven. And hell is the hard times that, like God, what they say, if you can't stand the heat, get the hell out the kitchen. Like sometimes they get real hot in that kitchen, but you got to stay in there, sweat dripping, and get to cooking up something because you got a job to do. So, a lot of times you got to just sit back and remind yourself, I used to get anxiety. Like, I didn't know what anxiety was. And we live in a world where we identify these feelings and all this stuff, and we're connected to mental health. And this is when I got older. Like in my 40s, I started realizing I didn't have anxiety. I had it, but at work, in prison, but only when I was about to get in a fight. So anxiety to me is, how you was a kid, when you was a kid, you got in trouble at school and you was on your way home and you knew you was about to get that work. And that funny feeling started, to me, that's anxiety, right? So anytime I'm about to get in a fight, I get this overwhelming anxiety feeling until it actually go down. And when the action goes in, it's all over. If I'm about to get into an argument or something, I can feel myself, having anxiety issue because I don't like confrontation. I don't like that back and forth. I'm more on a physical aspect when it comes to engaging in negative vibes and things like that. But I used to realize that life will give you anxiety. Life situations will give you anxiety. And it's that anxiety, like, what are you going to do? What am I going to do? It's like you trapped and your back's against the wall and you like, man, I got to figure something out. And you start like, that anxiety starts kicking in. And when it gets out of control, you ain't going to be able to think clearly. So for me, I understand how that works. So I got to keep my anxiety under control by understanding that is what I'm having anxiety about is minor or matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be okay. I made it out of all that stuff that I went through, and it didn't break me. It made me, because life is designed to either make you or break you. All the hard things that we go through in life, it's all designed. Ain't no why me. It's really why not me. Because we all go through different things. It ain't what we go through that really matters. Because like I said, we all go through different things. You've went through things that I haven't experienced, and I went through things that you haven't experienced. But at the end of the day, we made it out of that, and that stuff didn't break us.
And you know what I mean? The biggest thing about being a black man and having that experience, people, you know what I mean? People still see you as what's on your paperwork, as a aggressive person, a felon, a society, a robber, whatever. You know what I mean? In a black person mind, you can never change them. You just got to change for yourself and keep on pushing the positive route you can, because your image is never going to change to them certain people. And that's a lot of things that is the mental warfare on black men. What you think about that? Or men in general?
I agree. I mean, being a man is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's make it hard for us than women is that they're allowed to express their emotions where we're not, and we have to bottle it up because that's what men do. We suppress. We don't deal with us. We just. I don't know how the hell we supposed to deal with this stuff. What we supposed to do with it? Suppress it, not talk about it, whatever the case may be, ignore it. I don't know. I know I was watching I love Marvel movies, and I was watching uh the new movie where they got the fake Avengers, the new Avengers, Thunderbolts. And in it, she met this guy named Bob, and Bob was describing the scene. Bob was describing this emptiness, and he was like, "I don't know what it is," and this, that, another. And he was like, "You suppressed." He was speak. He was like, she was like, "That's a void. Like we all have a void in us, like something that's missing, and we tend to find little things to compensate that void, to fill in that void temporarily, not permanently, but just temporarily." So she was like, "The things that you're going through, you're supposed to suppress it." And I'm watching, I'm like, "Nah, that's not. You ain't supposed to do that because you can get a lot out of movies. You look past the entertainment part. Then later down in the movie, he realized she was like, when we had that speak and I told you to suppress it, no, you're not supposed to suppress it. You're supposed to let it out. You got to address that void. And a lot of men aren't allowed. We're taught not to address the voids in us. It could be a void. It could be for me, my void is a love void. Like I realized I used to ask myself, like, why do I be the way I be with women? Certain women can make me go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I just want to, I've been in situations where I don't even need you to love me. Let me just love on you and I got all this love. I want to give it to you and whatnot. And by doing that, it's making me feel good. And I was like, why am I like that? I have a void. I had to develop a void in me from childhood because I didn't get that emotional attachment that I required from that. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's my mother or you know what I'm saying? Like, I always got to have a female around to be able to say I love you and to hear that back from going from 15 years without even getting that physical attribute, that feeling, and being around that feminine energy and all that, because it's different when you're around feminine energy compared to around masculine energy as men. We got to conduct ourselves a way when we're amongst each other, right? But when we're women, a feminine energy, we're allowed to be more us, show that softer side and that vulnerability side, that whatnot. So, I realized that, I got a void that I need to address. Because just getting empty individuals to love on, and I realized if I catch the wrong person, with great power come great responsibility, and that person ain't gonna be responsible with the power that they hold over me. Because women can have a hold over us. We've all been in situations where we had that one woman where we don't want. She just got a hold on us. So I had to look deep down and acknowledge that and deal with that void. To, not let that be a void, fill it up with more substance instead of a temporary substance.
Yeah, man, that shit is really real, man. Like you said something about anxiety. Um, that is like the anxiety of the unknown sometimes can cause panic attacks. I remember I had anxiety that made me feel like I was about to have like a stroke or a heart attack. You know what I mean? 'Cause it was built up because um I had the thing going on with my baby's mother, my baby mom, my child's mother, and the unknown of damn is over how my daughter's gonna see me, and um the split household because I came from it, like how my daughter gonna deal with life, and you know what I mean. That stuff plays on you because it takes you to a place of, man, when I was 9 years old or 10 years old, and my dad didn't come get me till I was 10. So it takes you to that childhood trauma of seeing kids, two parent households getting picked up from the bus stop, and you know what I mean, field day and shit like that. Why my parents is not here? Like that shit harbors on people, man.
It
People
really,
remember that, man.
it do. Being a father or whatnot, man, I get a lot of anxiety as far as like, am I doing the right thing? What I'm going to do? What's my next move? And how I'm going to deal with her being a teenager and about to be a preteen, and body's developing, she feeling herself, and it's like, God damn, man. And now I did this whole first 10 years was easy, the cakewalk. Now I got another 10 years to do. And it's like, am I gonna fail her? Am I doing the right thing? And not even having a clue. So that can weigh on a parent trying to do the right thing, but really don't know if they're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Right. And that is, I mean, just had my second daughter, so I just think about, damn, like, 'cause I have another daughter, so I gotta just build them up. I feel like that's our job, to build them up and give them genuine love. You know what I mean? So they can know what it feels like to be properly loved, and you know what I mean. You know what I mean? They need the base of those principles so they can don't go around these streets with daddy issues, man. Because there's a lot of women with daddy issues, a lot of men with daddy issues and mother issues, man.
Yeah, it is, and I think it just makes sense. A lot of us are aren't dealing with the childhood trauma that we carry around every day. A lot has, especially these young individuals. But times is changing, and we are in the era where they're pushing mental health. They're putting it into the front base where it should be. And it's all about going to see the doctor for a physical checkup and getting physically checked out. Man, we gotta really get involved in our mentals. Talk to our kids, give our kids what we wasn't getting growing up. Because they issues wasn't addressed in the household. Did nobody really come and talk? I asked my daughter, like, what's on your mind? You all right? What's going on? Why you feel that way? And it's more than I don't know. It has to be a reason. You should never say, I feel a person should never say, I don't know. Why are you acting like, what's going on with you? I don't know. Oh, you got to think about it. I'm just going through some things. I don't know is an answer of the unknown. We've been on this planet. The adults been on this planet too long to not be able to identify their feelings. Why you do that? I just felt like doing it. That's better than I don't know. And then it's why, because that's just how I feel. So we got to learn how to express ourselves in ways that will help us instead of just holding it in. I don't know. Person keeps saying I don't know. The next person who's acting, who's caring, is just going to shut down. But you got to be able to pull them out of it and be like, I'm just, I just want you to know that I'm here for you and I care. And whenever you want to talk about it or whatever the case may be, I'm open. You got that. Eventually, the person is going to end up taking that because they can't just keep carrying that burden, that weight of suppressing that stuff and not knowing. Maybe we can talk and maybe we can figure it out together.
Mm. And I mean that is really real, man. That's really real, man, because like the pendulum goes back and forth, man, with that, man. So you gotta definitely take care of that, man, and do the best you can, man. That's my motto every day. Do the best I can. 1% better than no percent. You know what I mean?
We gotta share what we learn through our lives with others. Give them what I call mental tools to help them navigate through their emotions and things like this.
Because man, it's a sad thing to happen. Like I went back home and I was reading the news. Like it's a lot of people, man, that are losing this warfare with your mental, man. It was a guy that jumped on the train track, and now he's on the law. You know what I mean? So this shit is no joke about not taking care of your mind, man.
Yeah, people hurt people.
Yeah.
Whether by taking yourself out the game, you hurting a lot of people. And have you ever had to talk to somebody who wanted to die, wanted to unalive themselves, not do this no more? And that's a hard conversation to have because they're coming to you for whatever reason. Like I'm always like,
sometimes trying to get saved.
Yeah, or want attention. Because I look at it like, if you're gonna do it, why talk about it? Just do it. But a lot of times they just be wanting some type of attention. Someone find, a lot of us need that feeling that somebody cares. Because a lot of times we go through how, depending on how people treat us, our surroundings treat us, And the people that we're dealing with, a lot of times those people can make it seem like they don't care about you because of how they mistreat you or how they mishandle you.
But that's
You know
why
what
I feel like that's the reason why you gotta wake up every morning, wash your face, and give yourself self love. Because I feel like it starts with you. You can't love nobody if you don't love yourself. So you got to build yourself up every day. Oh, Jarrell, I think you know what I mean. You got to talk to yourself. I do it every morning. Gerard, Rod, I like this about you. This is what we need to work on. You know what I mean. I love you. I love the growth you did. Listen, just building yourself up. You got to give yourself affirmations of love every day in
hyping
this slow
yourself up.
society.
You gotta
You gotta
hype
be your own
yourself
hype
up.
man.
Hype me
You got
up. Hey, hype me up. I'll hype me up. Ain't nobody gonna hype me up. I'ma hype me up. So yeah, I'm firmly believe. I tell others, man, you look in the mirror. Like when I'm slipping and I'm not on my game. I will look in that mirror as I'm brushing my teeth and tell, get yourself together. You better than that. Come on now. Learn from that mistake and don't make that mistake again. Because what I learned is with life, when I make a mistake and I learn from it, I'll get tested again to see if I learn. So a similar situation will happen later down the line. And it's like I can see it, like I'm very observant. So I pay attention to my life, things around me, and I know when I'm being tested. Like this looks familiar. I've been here before, so I know what to do. We're gonna always get tested and retested to see if we learn.
yeah, you know what I mean. And that's definitely a key point, man. Of because this thing called being weird and expressing yourself called being weird. I call it being real, man. Like you got to let that stuff out, man. You got to let it out
Like
some kind of way, man.
if someone call me weird, it's just saying you extremely different, and I'm glad you see me. You, they say they call you weird, like in the try to hurt your feelings or whatever the case may be. Weird just mean different. It's abnormal to somebody that's not on that type of time.
And
That's
you know
all
what
it
I mean.
means.
And sometimes you gotta break away from the pack. You know what I mean? Because it's celebrated being a certified crash out and living by the rules of the streets and stuff like that. And sometimes it's good to break away from that and being the true you, man. Because that shit is not worth shit.
No,
It's not. So you know what I mean. I tell everybody, man. I'm comfortable with being me, man. Being be an inch better, being a father every day, and being better husband, whatever. To be better on them things. I don't worry about being outside, and you know what I mean. I'm cool with being in the house, man.
one thing
And better my branches I got now.
I've been having I got a best friend who I'm real close to, and my daughter. I normally tell him be good, tell her be good. Like we're gonna change it. Like be great, be the greatest version that you can be. It ain't about being good no more. Good is just maintaining, getting through it. Now we need to be great because we all got some type of greatness in it.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
always tell her,
and they play deeper. These kids now, their mental game is crazy, man. They Jedi's. They don't do too much of this. They play with this first and create viruses in these kids' mental, man. So you definitely gotta feed them, man.
yeah, they're real cerebral.
Mm-hmm.
They figure things, man. I've had some of the best conversations with young adults, and especially the young ones, the little 14-year-olds and 8-year-olds. I deal with a lot. I'm close to a lot of them, and they're very impressive mentally. They're very observant. They see, and I think that's a lot of problem with the respect level. They see things how I feel they see things how things are supposed to be seen. Like when it comes to respect, respect back when we was growing up was automatic. If I didn't know your mother or a elder in your family, I was supposed to still show her that respect. But even if Auntie was bad mouthing us and gave us every reason not to have respect for her, we still was supposed to give respect because it was just that's an adult. You're supposed to automatically. And I always use the scenarios. Imagine like this 1955. and we in the barber shop, and a white man come in and start calling us boy and talking real crazy to us. We're gonna comply. We're not gonna, yes sir, yeah, my fault, my fault, we're gonna bow down to him. But imagine if that happened now. Oh, we know why? Because we understand that respect is earned. You gotta give me a reason to respect. Just because you talking crazy to me and this, that, and that don't mean that I gotta respect you.
And a lot of people don't understand, man, that this that is real what you just said, man. And the best thing about self-expression and like you just said, people say, oh, I think it was a joke. Somebody said, I think might have been Richard Pryor when he was talking about people were saying something about the Nazis and oh man, I whooped the Nazi ass. No, you wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So like a lot of people say what they would do if they was in them certain situation to they're actually in that experiencing it. It's a difference. You know what I mean? When you experience going through a divorce, oh man, I'm trying my best. Sometimes your best doesn't work. Sometimes you're not meant to be with that person, or you lose women losing kids and they think it's the end of the world. Maybe it's not the time for the kid. Maybe God or whatever, the universe, whoever you believe in, the grasshopper, the ladybug, whatever you believe in, it's not that time for it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's about time. Time is everything.
It really is. Like you said, it's a time and place for everything, and yeah, it can be thrown off, or it could not. It's not arrived yet. So everything is by design. Things don't. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. That's just my belief. It's all straight designed the way it is for a purpose. You just got to figure out what that purpose is. It can be to get yourself together. It can be to clean your garden out because you got weeds in it and whatnot. But everything that we experience is, and that's just for me. I look at my life like a movie, right? You know how you ever watch a movie, I've learned this with my daughter and a couple friends when we watch a movie. If you look, it's like you can rewind the movie that you're watching. Now, your life can be a movie. You can take your whole life, make a script, and put it on TV or a big screen, whatever the case may be. Now, in watching it, I can rewind and go back. I might have missed the scene in your movie, right? And play it and whatever the case may be. Now, I can't go forward. We can't go forward in our lives, right? Because what good would be watching the movie if we fast forward it through when we first watch it? That's just gonna ruin. You got to push play. Now, when we rewind our movie or any movie, those are memories. Our scenes in our lives, those are memories, good and bad, right? And the good are designed for like making a happy place, or good memories to take you back to reminisce to the good times, whatever the case may be. And the bad memories are designed for you to review and analyze and get something out of it because that happened for a reason. You got to get out of it. So
And that's real.
with that being said, a lot of times I'll sit back and I'll be in isolation and by myself, and I'll rewind my movie and go back to a particular scene and analyze it and why, and try to dissect it on why it happened, where did I go wrong at, and if the next time something happened, because it's going to happen again, how should I handle it? So a lot of times, you got to just push play and just play the shit out.
And
Play.
you know what I mean? That is definitely real, man. Because I remember back in the day, black family used to get together for Christmas, right? Every black family used to get together at grandma's house, and people would probably be smoking cigarettes in the house, smoking weed, maybe some rocks. I don't, you know what I mean? Whatever, and dysfunction, right? And like my uncle Nut died a couple months back. So we had a get together, right? Outside the park. You know what I mean? We had a little outside thing at the park and people smoking that weeds, people, be playing gambling and all kind of stuff. So I told my daughter, I said, yo, I don't want you to be around here But the other kids right here, I said, that's not what I want for you. Go ahead, be a kid. Because I feel like this, Jarrell. I feel that it's important to guard your kid from certain things of being around adults, right?
Yeah, man,
But
I had a
they're not ready for that adult conversation. But some people cool with that. But the adult activity, I feel like kids should be separate. I don't believe in adults should let kids get into conversations when they talk about life events and uh, co-parenting and shit like that. Like that shit is not for a kid to know. You should tell your kid what's going on with anything adult like conversations. That shit should be separated. That's a different hard drive. They shouldn't be tapped
now.
into that.
I I I use sometimes I use adult situations as lessons for my daughter, especially when it comes into molding her in a certain way. For example, you know, a lot of not I don't like saying certain words like all women or whatever the case may be, but a lot of women have the mentality when it comes to money being spent on them that they'll spend another man's money and before they spend their money. Like, why spend my money when I can spend his money? You know, and I had to break, and I saw that, and I had a situation that was like that, and I brought it to my, and I saw my daughter doing some things that brought me to that, brought my attention to that situation with that girl, and it was she would ask me to buy her stuff and have money. So I'm like, don't you have money? Yeah. Why you want to spend my money when you got money? You know, we're not gonna do that. So I would have to correct her. So I told her, like, you know, I've been in situations where women will use a man for his money and, you know what I'm saying, not spend her money. I don't want you to be like that. So what we're gonna do is you want something off the, you know, Sheen or whatever, Amazon, you got the money, I'll buy it off my card and you can pay me the money. You spend your money, don't use nobody else. So, you know, I told her.
That is important because man, my mom used to tell me this, man. She told me and my older sister, Sherrod, never have asked nobody for money, begging, because you don't know what they're gonna expect from you.
A
Because
lot of people have that.
it's a
I owe
lot of
you.
people
You owe me.
praying. Yeah, there's a lot of people preying on people because they're fortune, they're money hungry, so they're gonna take advantage of you. You know what I mean? So you always don't never ask nobody or begging. Like I could never as a kid be like, hey, oh, I need a couple dollars. Not in front of my mom. My mom get in my mouth. I don't do a good enough job. I could never ask for money. If somebody want to slide you a couple dollars, that's different. You know what I mean? But me, I always had that hustle and that muscle to. You know, I remember when I was a little kid, I used to ask all the the drug dealers. I know they was lazy. Well, let me take your trash out to your place. Let me get a couple dollars.
Mm,
Or let me clean your wheels. You know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm not going to just beg for some money. You know what I mean?
But that's about that pride. Like a lot of men don't have that pride to where if you ain't got no money, you feel less like I know for me, if I ain't got no money, I don't feel like the man that I normally can be feeling when I'm on top of my stuff. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to talk. I know. I remember one time when I first came home, I couldn't find a job. Barbershops around wasn't hiring people that were new. You had to have your own clientele. But I lasted like 2 months. And the girl that I was with, she was the beautician, cosmetologist, and she worked as a lunch lady at a elementary school, middle school, high school to be exact. And she would come home and then go to work. No, she would get off work and then go straight to work and then come home. And here I am just twiddling my thumbs, going to place, trying to find a job. And she'd be like, she'd come home, she got 2 kids, so she'd start cooking. She'd ask me, did you eat? I ain't ate nothing. But she didn't know. I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't hungry. Because I'm like, I don't even deserve for her to be cooking because I ain't even bringing nothing to the table. My pride as a man wouldn't allow me to, and I've seen men or males, they ain't men to me, I've seen males be comfortable being taken care of, living up under a woman and reaping all the benefits that a woman has to, a car, a house, food, free rent, or, ain't got to pay no bills. Just you living like the kids living, no responsibility. And they cool with it. I just, girl, like, you want to drive my car? No. You want to use my car? No. I'll catch the bus. I'll figure it out. I'm good. It's just a lot of us men, real men, got that pride where I ain't gonna ask. I'm gonna try to find. I'll figure it out. And if I do ask, that means I exhaust all remedies, and that's the last resort.
And I feel like, man, sometimes people do see the potential. You know what I mean? Sometimes they don't want that 2025. They want that 1974 Challenger because it's more, gratifying, to rebuild a car or whatever, It's at that level to do that, because, sometimes it's just about they see something in you. You know what I mean? If you was that, be a homosexual one every day. I've seen a lot of these young girls too. They want the guy that's gonna mooch over them because they can control them. Some men like that too. You know what I mean? They want the person they can control because they don't got nothing.
Control freaks. That's why I say with great power comes great responsibility, man. Men have power over women, certain over women. Women have power over men. You know what I'm saying? And you got to date. That person ain't responsible with that power. They're gonna take advantage of you. You're gonna get used, and you're gonna get mentally abused and taken up top and played with.
And it's the sad thing about it is because the motherfucker that's Bobby Blowback out, you know what I mean? They create a lot of kids, and that just creates the farming system for the streets, you know what I mean? Because daddy never worked, mom was cool with him, they all living off that welfare check or whatever, the crash out or the dumb shit, and that's keep on breeding that system, that farm system, back to the streets.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Well, sad, man. It's really sad when you really think about it. God damn, fucking Thunder beating the shit out of them boys, man.
Yeah, you already knew what it was gonna be. I'm trying to catch it at the right time.
So, man, you ain't too far from there, right?
What's that?
Indiana ain't too far from Ohio, right?
No, it's right next door.
Damn, I was about to say, yeah, that ain't too far, man. Not too far at all, man. But man, what else been going on with you, man? I see that you getting about to be in the wedding soon. So, man,
Yeah, my son, he asked me to be in his wedding. He get married in Vegas, and asked me if I wanted to be in it, which I am so honored because our relationship has not been what I expected it to be. So this is important for me to be there and honored that he chose me.
how did that make you feel, man?
It was how you ain't for sure with an individual where y'all stand, and you want to stand on the right side of the situation where y'all cool and y'all trying to fix the issues that cause y'all to have this be in the situation that you're in. Mm-hmm. And you have more questions like, does this person really rock with me? This person, you know what I'm saying? Like, you offer like, bro, like, I want to get to know you. I want us to have a relationship, and through that relationship with time, that relationship will turn into a bond, like a father-son type bond situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to understand that people gonna be them, and you gotta accept them for who they are. You can't put expectations on a person outside of expecting them to be them, whoever they are. So, you know, it'd be every hit and miss. We'll step out, get a drink or whatever case may be, and then it just disappear. I'm not one to chase. I give a person their space because if I want my space, I want the same energy. But when he brought it to my attention, I'm like, man, that's a sign that, you know, some people can't express how they feel. They're really people that don't know how to express their feelings and translate their thoughts and emotions into words. So he might have been, you know, I took it all. I didn't ever get mad, like, man, I'm always reaching out to you. You don't ever reach out to me, whatever, whatever. But when he asked me, man, it's just I felt honored that my junior out of all the people, and it's like like Jay-Z said, you can go anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. You can sit in any barber chair in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that to the utmost. I'm really big on appreciating and people doing things that they don't have to do. So for him to choose me, I felt honored. I really felt to be his best man, like I felt honored.
Damn, that hit different, man. And you know what I mean, you a little bit older than me, so man, I hopefully I can experience some things of in life, man, to be a part of my kid's wedding, man. And you know what I mean, hopefully, God willing, I'm knock on wood that I can see that, you know what I mean, a couple grandkids and weddings and stuff like that, because that is a dope thing to see, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The circle of life, you know what I mean, on that level.
Because I wouldn't even have thought of asking my dad to be in this, you know, when I had got married.
Mm-hmm.
Why is my phone not charging?
But man, we about to get out of here. Can you let the people know where they can find Jarrell at?
You can find me on Instagram at Jarrell Baby Jung. You can find me on Facebook under Jarrell Lamar. That's pretty much TikTok. I'm on TikTok. TikTok, I do a lot of live.
I see you going wild on TikTok. I see you doing Magic Mike type shit. I didn't want to say don't Diddy.
That was motivation to stay in the gym. I got motivation issues of staying in the gym. So, and then I also the reply, the feedback was like I started getting requested to do songs and things of that nature.
Yeah, I see, man. I see. I see.
But then you notice I fall back. I like, man, I like attention, but when it gets overwhelming and the DMs start getting creepy and all this other stuff, man, I pull over. I'll shut everything down.
People's asking you to put that Crisco on you, Crisco or
nah.
on you.
Man, don't start, man. Don't.
They're trying to make you look like an African sculpture, huh, boy?
Right.
But man,
yeah.
I appreciate you coming on here, man. I gotta turn the lights off, man. The baby's about to wake up, so man, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Anytime, man. You know you're my guy, and I'm your Huckleberry. And anytime you need me.
All right, man. It's time to turn the lights off.